Have you ever found yourself somewhere and had the realization that nobody you know in the world has any idea of where you are? It's not a lost feeling, but rather a thrilling sensation, a kind of freedom, completely autonomous, unburdened by where you've been or to where you are going, completely untethered to the expectations of what it's supposed to be. Suddenly hyper-focused on the present, your senses come alive and your analytical thinking mind is completely eclipsed by your heart center, which is now wide open and basking in the moment, unattached to what it means, simply delighted and grateful that you are there. These kinds of moments cannot be planned. They aren't on an agenda or itinerary, and like gateways or portals, they can transport you to places that you never imagined you would go when you woke up that morning. It happened to me recently. What started out as a morning stroll with my coffee transformed into sitting in the balcony at Lincoln Center's David Koch Theater watching a closed orchestra rehearsal for the opening night of the New York City Ballet. The cultural aspect of the experience was exquisite, and there are plenty of things I might share in that regard. But what stood out to me more in that moment was this deeper awareness around how much magic is just beyond our daily routines. The only reason I ended up in that orchestra rehearsal that morning was because I got curious. While waiting for the box office to open, a kind elderly woman, probably a volunteer usher, I thought, although who the heck knows? She may have been one of the biggest donor patrons of the ballet. Funny how we assume things about people. In any case, she asked me, "Are you here for the orchestra rehearsal?" First sighting of the portal. Faded, but slowly opening. "No, we're here waiting to buy tickets for tonight," I replied, followed by an immediate thought, courtesy of ego brain, who selfishly applied what just happened to what it says about me. She knows I'm an artist, I thought. That's cool. I observed how that idea put some wind in my sails as I strutted through Lincoln Center Plaza, feeling somehow more like the artist I've always been than the tourist I was that day. It had been 2.5 years since I was living and working in New York City. And maybe that feeling would have been enough. Shifting energy is always a good thing. I was feeling all the feels. Even my coffee tasted better. We wandered back to see if the box office was open yet and noticed that the door was ajar and there were some people filing in. Is the box office open?" I asked. Someone nodded yes, and we crossed through. Portal number 1. Curiosity kicked in as I noticed a few people heading left into the lobby of the theater rather than straight ahead to the box office. I went left instead. Portal number 2. Up ahead, I could see them giving their names to someone who checked them off a list. The orchestra rehearsal. This must be an invited orchestra rehearsal, I thought. Well, on any given day, this next moment could absolutely have been perceived as an obstacle. I might even have opted to play it safe and walk away. That morning, though, I chose instead to consider it as portal number 3 and approached the gatekeeper confidently and wholeheartedly, and he invited us through. As the conductor raised his baton, a sacred, focused quiet came over all that were in the hall that morning. In that silence, I felt simultaneously autonomous and connected to myself and everyone. It was true that nobody I knew in the world had any idea of where I was, but I did. These moments stand out because they are more rare than they need to be. The irony is they aren't unicorn events. They aren't so difficult to find or obtain. With practice, we can create more of these moments in our lives. A suspension of the day-to-day reality we've been living in, a glimpse of what else is possible if only we take the time to see. You see, life never stops offering you the chance to dance, but more often than not, we are unaware of the invitation, or worse, catch a glimpse of it, but choose to stand on the sidelines instead. It's like stumbling on a treasure chest and not opening it because you don't have time right now, or walking away because it just might be too hard or even scary. With practice, we can create more of these moments in our lives. And I invite you to see them as more than just random moments. I'm Lisa Hopkins. Thanks so much for listening. Stay safe and healthy, everyone, and remember to live in the moment.